Hello, Pete. Pete the laughter man with the red hat. And that's why I thought I had to do the same, Pete.
You should have called me, Joe. I wouldn't have worn mine if I knew you were wearing yours.
So, Pete, think about sort of joy. What is joy to you? What does joy mean to you, Pete?
So, joy to me means just an internal warmth, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah, an internal sort of warmth within me that just like happy. So it's ultimately, the external laughter or smiling, energy. But I think it's there's yeah, joy to me definitely is that sort of warm feeling of just a warm fuzzy feeling, I
Yes,
suppose.
yes, yes. Um, um, uh, and so, how important is that feeling to you, Pete?
Very. It's the most important feeling that I chase that feeling in lots of different guises, and I'm very conscious of feeling like they with that warm fuzzy feeling. And
Yes,
obviously, we know each other through laughter yoga, and that's
yes,
definitely one way that has helped over the years to get to that warm fuzzy feeling. And um but there's lots of other ways that I get there. And we spoke a little bit about gratitude is a big thing, and I think it's
yes,
just being conscious and present in that moment and just sitting there and going, or walking or whatever, and just saying, actually, wow, wow, I'm really
yes,
grateful for this moment. And
yes,
as like recently, I say recently, within the last 2 years we've been here nearly, we moved to Cornwall, and part of that move was to be close. I know it's nearly 2 years, it's crazy.
hardly believe it.
Uh,
Yeah,
Part of that move was very much to be closer to the ocean for me, for the waves, and that
yes,
really bring me joy. It massively brings me
yes.
joy, and getting in amongst that energy of, well, I suppose, well, it's Mother Nature ultimately just
Very nice.
slamming and pushing and just
Yes,
working with that, and just that moment, like. I'm always grateful when I get in the sea and get out the sea, and that brings me
nice.
massive joy. And the other thing, Joe, here is the stars. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
The,
amazing.
they're so amazing down here. Like it is literally, and like I'm sure there's people that are listening or watching this, that live in more remote areas where you look up and it's like lots of like pinpricks in the sky. And
Fantastic.
that's something that you don't get so much when you live in a Bristol, in a city,
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
light pollution and stuff. So,
yeah,
and I just try and encourage the kids and Chloe, actually, the family, just to like look up at night. So,
yeah,
just because also it makes you feel a little itty witty, rather than like sometimes our life and like whether we've got problems, they seem pretty big, but actually when
yeah,
we look up there, and I think that's also with the ocean, when you look out to the
yeah,
ocean vast,
yes.
everything just seems a little bit smaller, doesn't it? So
Yes, yes. And you were saying that your room, the room where you're in now, you can look out and see the ocean.
I can see the sea. I've got a bit of a hedgerow at the moment, but we won't talk about neighbours and hedge cutting and all of that. That's another story for another time. But I can see the inlet. Falmouth is over the other side, and I can see the
Fantastic.
water. Yeah, it's amazing.
Fantastic. One thing that sort of came to mind when we were talking. What for you is the connection between laughter yoga and joy? What for you is this connection?
Do you okay, there's a couple. Okay. Now one is laughter and just the energy that flows when we laugh and we get uncontrollable giggles and
Yeah.
just, that connection with other people. And that is definitely something that brings me joy. And I think the other end of the spectrum is actually when you run a session with people and you do get that connection, and then you see it in their face where maybe they've come in a little bit like this, just a bit like, well, I'm not sure what this is all about. And by
Yeah.
the end of it, they're just opened up. Their faces are obviously flushed with all the blood and everything that's going. Just they just change. Their whole physique go from maybe like this to like just being open, and
Yeah.
that brings me joy. Like that moment where everyone's lying on the floor at the end, and just the laughter flows, and I just
Yeah.
stand or sit there, just going. That's nice, and that's a very joyful thing for me as well.
Yes, yes. Fantastic. Fantastic, Pete. So um what would be your top joy tip or tips, sir?
I would say, I've covered them already. So definitely bit gratitude for sure.
Yeah,
Practicing gratitude, just being mindful of where you are at that moment in time, where whatever it is, we can pick gratitude from whatever day part of the day. So
yeah,
that's definitely something that brings joy. Definitely breath work and laughing and smiling and
yeah.
just being. Being conscious of who you hang around with, I think is important as well, because
Oh,
there
nice.
are
Very, yes, very nice. Yes, yes, yes. Yep.
I, I like to call them mood hoovers. Sometimes people like, and they want to take
Yeah,
that, and that's great if they can work with you. But if they're just going to keep there and put, so I just think be conscious of that. So that,
yeah,
but yeah, so gratitude, just getting out in nature, just being
yes,
in the sea.
yeah,
Don't have to be in the sea, but again, it's water. It's
yeah.
it's it's just yeah, and family and friends.
Fantastic. That was a very nice one, though, about being conscious of who you spend your time with.
Mm.
Because the way that some people definitely do, they tend to lift us up, and others tend to be a bit kind of, or
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's also been, it's something I've been conscious of for quite a few years now. Is this that you are the combination of the six people that you spend the most time with, and actually, if you're spending some time with people that we've all got pasts, and
yeah,
sometimes maybe if you were whatever, like I won't go too far into my past, but there was times where maybe I wasn't who I am now, and it was if
yeah,
I look at the six people that I was hanging around with
yeah,
the most, that actually they were that so okay, so I used to be a gambler, Joe. Like reform gambler, but that's who I hung around with. That was the
yeah,
vibe. So therefore, whereas now, it's more about being, I suppose, successful in myself and just grateful and just happy and just, I will be conscious that, I want to go out walking with people. But if I go out walking with someone, I want to spend an hour walking and talking with someone that energizes me, but then I
yeah,
can energize them. And then
yeah,
you've done a 4 or 5 mile walk, you should be tired, but actually mentally you're stimulated and you just
yes.
feel engaged.
Very nice, very nice. So laughter yoga is part of your new so you plus some. I believe there's one other thing that you.
I could have brought all my bats out. I could have thought, yeah, no, yeah, Joe. Again, we offline, and that we are going to have a game. That will happen. I don't know
We
when.
will be. We will.
I don't know when. It might be an outdoor game in Bristol at some point, but we'll
I
we'll
think you
we'll
better
we'll,
give me a
we'll
large handicap, Pete. I know you're going to be a lot better than me.
it's fine, and that it's yeah. So I've been playing table tennis for 15 plus years probably now, and sort of moving down to Cornwall. My daughter Neela, she's 13. She's getting really into table tennis now, and part of that, I'm very fortunate that actually because I own my business, I can sort of mold my time around what I want to do, and part of my
Yeah.
passion now is to sort of drive the youth section in Cornwall, because it's like anything, if you haven't got youth coming up through clubs and associations,
Yeah.
they can quite easily just sort of fall by the wayside, can't they? So yeah, so I've come in with my Pete Cann energy, and a few of the committee at the moment is just like, whoa, but they're starting to warm to me now. They're like, okay, someone with some energy that's coming in, and just seeing, like so I go into schools on a Wednesday afternoon, and from seeing someone like the children that can't hit a ball to actually then they do the hit the ball, and then I teach them how to do a top spin, like smash or drive, and they're like, and then it hits the table, and then just their eyes light up, and
Amazing.
just even well, just you saw me light up just by talking about that,
Yes,
and
yes,
that
yes. I felt it too. I felt it, Pete. Yes.
yeah, I just it's and that's joy ultimately there. That's that little warm emotion, and it is
Yeah.
purpose, which is
Yeah.
what I also mentioned previously. It's having that. I'm again fortunate enough to be able to bring this, and actually on the other flip of that, so it's just being a mentor of some sort with these
Yes.
children, because again, you don't
Yeah.
know where they're from, their
No,
background. So
no.
actually having a bit of Pete Cann, the laughter man, mentoring them and just having a bit of fun with them, it just
Yeah.
creates a different energy, doesn't it?
Yes. So I can see another title is also, Pete Cann, the ping pong man.
Ping pong Pete. Ping pong Pete. Do you know what?
Pete, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we did this session at the school last year, and at the end of it, they there was 30 kids, and they just did this lovely card, and it was like ping pong Pete and table
Oh,
tennis
so
Tim,
nice.
and it was lovely, and they were just like, it just they'd all signed it, they coloured it, and it was just like, oh wow, wow,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Fantastic. Great. Well, I know you're very busy, Ping Pong Pete, the Laughter Man, and chef.
Yeah.
Um, lovely, lovely conversation. Thank you very much, Pete. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much. Can we finish with a little giggle? Is that possible?
Always. I'm exactly. I feel my ping pong is probably slightly on the defensive.
Oh,
Amazing, Pete.
perfect.
Lovely.